Agni. Mandalam 1, Suktam
27B.
Rishi,
Shunah Shepa Ajigirti.
Devata, Agni, Chandas,
Gayatri. Trishtubh.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 8.
अकीरस्य दहन्त्यपर्येता कयस्यचित् वाजो अस्ति स्रवाय्याः.
No one, conqueror of this one all-powerful, even your abundance of material body is hearing of truth. The peerless conqueror. The ephemerality or the illusory nature of the material body is emphasized in this verse. The pair production annihilation process and the notion of mass being an illusory characteristic of an energy quantum as it traverses the all-pervading Higgs field, also exemplified in Vedic thought by the concept of Vishnu, underscores both conditions. In personified terms, the unmanifest supreme or consciousness manifests as the duo of Purusha and Prakriti, principles and their force of expression to make material creation happen. This being a unidirectional process, and also by the premise that the universe at the end of its prescribed duration will see the duo, personified yet abstracted, and all of its material creation, whether real or illusory, long-lasting but not eternal, or ephemeral, merge back into the singularity that they originated from. This visualization sets up an hierarchy of superiority among these players in the business of the universe, represented by the logical expression unmanifest supreme greater than duo of Purusha and Prakriti greater than material universe. In mundane terms, this notion is expressed as it is in this verse, or as the unmanifest supreme consciousness that has no conqueror, being the conqueror of the material universe. It is, however, a conqueror of a different genre. It grants freedom to its illusory subjects rather than subjugating them in bondage. And this grant of freedom is made through the process of enabling the subjects to become privy to the nature of the conqueror itself by the way of revelations, referred to as grace in mundane parlance.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 9.
Savajam Vishwajarghanirarvadhirastu taruta Vipredhirastu sanita.
He, all-observing, Let him be winning abundance by steeds. Let him be one who is procured by wise seers. Momentous movers and insignificant intermediaries. Knowledge and wisdom are surely great levelers, bestowing upon us the ability and understanding to realize and appreciate the importance of every object in creation to make the universe what it is, and the relevance of every activity, conceptually momentous or judgmentally insignificant, to make existence progress the way it does. This notion is clearly projected by the comparison of wise seers and steeds and their respective winnings in their associated engagements for acquisition of abundances that are appropriate to each of them according to their stations and functions in life. To each, what they achieve is truth, that is a facet of the Absolute, and so verily desirable, commensurate with their functional pursuits. And the source of all these truths is the one and only Manifest Supreme. The two objects and their associated activities in focus can be correlated, and genuinely so, with any other activity that we are or may ever be aware of. A bee gathering honey from flowers, a phytoplankton transforming sunlight into chemical energy, or gravity maneuvering a molecular cloud of immense proportions into forming a star system, can all be equated to the seer procuring wisdom in his quest for consciousness. The universe would not be what it is even if one of them did not happen, and perhaps would not be there at all. This is the universe-wide web in which we are all happily entangled as both momentous movers and insignificant intermediaries.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 10.
यदा बोधतद्भिविद्धि विषेवीसे यज्ञियाय स्तोमम् रुद्राय ऋषीकम्.
One attending to invocation, do render that fit to be conspicuous hymn for Rudra, for the devout, for general populace. Rudra, the fierce face of Agni. The appellations and epithets accorded to conceptualized divinities are descriptive of their functionality in a given situation. Indra, in a well-balanced environment, becomes the epitome of equilibrium, while in a situation where an individual is led astray by overindulgence of the senses, Indra becomes an adulterer. Just as personified divinities are mortal conveniences to understand the working of the universe and its purpose in mortal terms, the appellations and epithets assigned to them become conveniences for projecting our shortcomings and mistakes upon divinities and absolve ourselves of culpability. In a script-driven existence, this approach to life is perhaps legitimate too. The fierce and vicious facet of Agni is referred to as Rudra. In this visualization, he destroys and devastates everything in his path. This manifestation of Agni is as important and necessary for the playbook of existence as is his bounteous and benefactory avatar. The devout may accept this avatar as an inevitable necessity, but the general populace would be terrified and will find even the thought very difficult to contend with. This verse is an invocation to the fierce form of Agni to praise the expression of his destructive capabilities on the premise that whatever he does is in the larger interests of existence. Creativity and destructivity are essentials of duality that we experience as birth and death. For Agni, both are merely activities that have to be propelled by its power to their logical conclusions, a task that he accomplishes scrupulously. In mortal perception, he is worshipped as Aditya in one and feared as Rudra in another. But he is only him, ever youthful and ever eager Agni.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 11.
महानिमानो धूमकेतुः पुरुश्चन्द्रः धिरेवाजाय हिन्वतु.
He, mighty, unbounded, smoke-bannered, much bright, may he impel us for thought, for abundance. Smoke, the banner of Agni. The arguments made about appellations and epithets in the description of the previous verse apply here as well. But unlike the fearful ambience of destruction there that prompted an equally ominous sounding epithet to be assigned, the thoughts of this verse describe a much more conducive atmosphere to extol Agni, resulting in much less fearful or even pleasant epithets. A banner is used to mark and indicate one's presence in the vicinity and come in many forms, targeting one or more of our senses, and have been used by mortals ever since they came to be. A flag flying over a vehicle of war is a visual banner. The urination on trees and rocks of territorial animals to mark their domain is an olfactory pennant. A megaphone blaring away in a place of worship is an auditory banner. The aroma wafting out of a pushcart kitchen on the streets, the call of birds, the attractive colors that flowers sport on their petals to attract insects that pollinate them. The list of banners at work will be as exhaustive as the diversity of nature. Agni as fire makes its presence known by smoke that occurs when there is incomplete combustion, that can happen whenever anything is burned. Smoke then becomes the banner of Agni as fire, marking his presence, and it certainly impels our thoughts and propels us into action to ensure that the source of fire is sufficiently restrained so as not to cause damage. The abundance bestowed by smoke-bannered Agni come in many forms in the modern materialistic world, from coal-fired ovens used for cooking food to the production of electric power in coal-fired generators and many other industrial processes. Agni is indeed mighty and unbounded.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik
12.
तदेवाम् इव विस्पतिर्देव्यः केतुश्रेणोदुनः उक्थैरग्निर्बृहद्भानुः.
Like great opulent splendor, Agni, divine intellect, master of mortals, may he hear us by our hymns. Opulence of truth leads to freedom. A distinction is perhaps being made in this verse between truth, that is opulence-like, and that leads to freedom, and material opulence that leads to bondage and suffering. Mortals marvel at Agni's versatile abilities to be a protagonist of existence at certain times and an antagonist at others, according to the need of the moment, and his divine intellect that makes him perceive it. They seek his grace to be blessed with a similar intellectual capacity to navigate their own lives towards the declared purpose of life, that of attaining supreme consciousness. This seeking of grace itself makes the seeker realize the greatness of Agni and his splendor, knowing that while they seek this ability for themselves alone, he, as the master of mortals, navigates all mortals through their respective life journeys, unasked and unacknowledged. When asked and acknowledged, he grants to the seeker the sought-after abilities like his own in magnanimity and directs the seeker towards the true path to freedom. Such seekers are the ones bestowed with real opulence. However, if the notion of the manifest Supreme residing in everything were to be true, and that reasonably appears to be so, then both real and phony opulence must be divine, and the distinction merely a plot in the playbook of existence. A character gets to perform its part in the play as well as be a spectator witnessing it, if so directed. This apparent paradox may be understood if we were to be such a character by a quirk of the script and live this dual role.
Mandalam 1 Suktam
27,
Rik
13.
नमो महद्भ्यो नमो अर्भगेभ्यो नमो युवद्भ्यो नम आसिनेभ्यः इदामदेवान् यदि शक्नवा ममाज्याय स्वस्तम् समाविक्षिदेवाः.
A bow to greats, a bow to insignificance, a bow to youngs, a bow to olds. May we perform sacrifice to divinities, if we are able. Gods, may I not wound blessing of superior. A bow to everything in existence. An assertion of equality of the diversity that we see in the universe is this verse. Equality on the basis of the fact that the manifest Supreme resides in all of them, making them all divine. Hence, a bow to all, the greats, the insignificants, the youngs, and the olds. Living itself being a sacrifice, the condition, if we are able to, is more a manner of speech and an expression of humility than anything else. so is the apprehension that the composer may wound the blessing of a superior, a mortal or an immortal. This can be valid in a mortal will-driven scheme of universal progression. However, if existence is a preordained play, to wound or not would also be a part of the script. Not wanting to wound a superior under this possibility would be an expression of acceptance of all that happens to us or around us. If you found this video informative and relevant, please like and share it. If you would like to see more such videos in this ongoing series, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you for viewing.